All right, everybody, welcome back. I am so excited for today's deep dive
Yeah,
into the world of gaming.
I
We
am.
got a really, really interesting article from a listener
Yeah.
all about nostalgia for older games. And I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely been feeling that lately myself.
Absolutely. I think, we all get those rose-tinted glasses sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see what this article says about why so many people are like longing for that, simpler time.
Yeah. Is it really just rose-tinted glasses or,
Right.
have things actually changed that much?
Yeah, yeah. Did games back then just hit different or what?
Totally. And that's what we're here to figure out.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this article and see what we can unpack here.
So the article mentions this desire for like the intimacy of old forums
Oh, yeah.
and that nostalgic sense of community. And I think that makes sense because like nowadays there are just so many games coming out all the time.
Oh my gosh, it's like a fire hose.
It's like you can't even keep up.
Yeah, you can't possibly keep up with all the new releases and the trends and
It's overwhelming.
it is. It's completely overwhelming.
Yeah, and so maybe that's why people are kind of, seeking refuge in
Oh, absolutely.
those older games.
It's comfort food.
Yeah.
You go back to what, you know.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the article also talks about this potential shift from like focusing on storytelling
Oh, yeah.
to focusing on like technology and visuals. And it kind of contrasts games like Skyrim
Nah.
and Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
which were like so story driven.
Right. World building,
Yeah.
character development.
Yeah. And now it seems like a lot of games are more about like the graphics or the mechanics.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just like the technology has advanced so much, developers can create these like incredibly realistic worlds.
Yeah. It sounds
But sometimes I feel like that comes at the expense of the story.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I remember spending hours in games like Game X,
Yeah, me too.
just like completely immersed in the story and the characters.
Yeah. It felt like you were living in a different world.
Exactly. And nowadays it's like sometimes I feel like I'm just like looking at a really pretty tech demo.
But okay, wait. Are amazing visuals always like a bad thing?
That's a good point.
Like, can't they also enhance the story?
For sure. For sure. I mean, there are definitely games out there where the visuals really do add to the atmosphere.
Like, what about like specific example of game? I mean, I feel like the visuals in that game really like
Absolutely.
pull you in.
Absolutely. There are definitely games that do it really well.
Yeah.
It's just about finding that balance.
Right, right.
But another thing that's kind of changed the gaming landscape is microtransactions.
Oh yeah, the article mentions that too, and not in a good way.
Yeah, it's a tricky topic because on the one hand, microtransactions can allow developers to keep creating new content and updates.
Right, keep the servers running.
Exactly. But on the other hand, it can feel very predatory.
Yeah, like you're being nickel and dimed every step of the way.
Exactly. And it can also lead to like a situation where developers are more focused on creating games that encourage spending.
Oh yeah.
Rather than like telling a good story.
And it's not just games either, right?
Yeah.
Like you see this kind of like, pay for extra model popping up everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like streaming services, for example.
Absolutely.
You pay for a monthly subscription, but then there's like all these premium tiers and add-ons, and it's like,
It never ends.
yeah, when does it end?
And in gaming, it's like, you might have to pay extra for like loot boxes or character skins or.
It can be frustrating.
Yeah. And it takes away from that feeling of like,
Right.
accomplishment, like you've
Yeah.
earned something.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of feeling a sense of community,
Oh, yeah?
that's another thing that's kind of changed.
Yeah, the article talks about how like games like Skyrim really fostered this sense of community.
Right.
Where players were like organically connecting and helping each other out.
You'd stumble upon other players in the world.
Yeah.
You'd team up to take down a dragon or something.
Yeah, it felt like a real shared experience.
Exactly.
But now a lot of online gaming feels more...
Competitive.
Yeah.
More like you're all just trying to beat each other.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good competition.
Sure, me too.
But there's something to be said for that, like, collaborative
Absolutely.
spirit of those older games.
And there's still games out there that do that really well.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that's changed over time.
So where do we go from here?
That's the big question.
Right. Is it all just doom and gloom?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think there's hope.
okay.
I think there are developers out there who are trying to find that balance
Yeah.
between, the amazing things that modern technology can do
Right.
and the things that we loved about those classic games.
Yeah, like that sense of community and the the focus on storytelling.
Yes.
So, like, are there any games out there that you think are doing a good job of this?
Yeah, there are a few that come to mind.
Okay.
Like, I think specific example is a good example.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah, and also specific example.
Okay.
They're both games that have really compelling narratives.
Yeah.
But they also have, like, really strong community features.
Okay.
And they're not super predatory with the microtransactions.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, so it's possible.
Right.
It's definitely possible.
So the takeaway here is that, like, yes, the gaming landscape has changed,
yeah,
and not always for the better.
right.
But there are still people out there who are trying to make games that are
Yeah.
both innovative and
Fun. And engaging.
and engaging.
Meaningful.
Yeah, and I think that's what we all really want at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So I guess the question for all of you listeners out there is, like,
Yeah.
if you were designing a game today,
Oh, that's a good one.
how would you balance the best of the old and the new?
Right? How would you capture that magic of those classic games?
Yeah. What elements would you bring back?
Yeah.
And how would you integrate them with all the amazing technology we have now?
Yeah,
That's something to think about.
definitely.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, happy gaming, everybody.
Happy gaming.
See ya.